Windows. This is Paul here. This is a tutorial on the Action Center. This is where you get notifications in Windows of problems or something that you need to take action over. In Windows 7, which is what this screen is, you'll see there's a little flag down here, and it's telling me that I need to solve 3 issues, or there's 3 messages that I have to deal with. Now that, if I click on it, should take me straight into the Action Center. I'm not going to click on that one, but it does right now, but as you can see right above it, it's got a list of the messages there that I have to look at. But if I clicked on that, it would take me straight to the Action Center. I'm going to show you where it's hiding in Windows 7. You click on the Start button, go to the Control Panel, and as you see, it comes right up as the default category settings. And then we're going to go into the System and Security, and there's the Action Center. There's other ways to get there. You can also change your settings to large icons. As you can see, it comes up as the first item in the list, Action Center. And likewise, you can use the search bar, which is very comprehensive, and you can just type in the word action. In fact, don't even need to type the whole thing in, and there it is, Control Panel, Action Center. Now I've pulled it up, and as you can see in the address bar, it says Control Panel, all Control Panel items, Action Center. These are the 3 messages that I have to look at, and as you can see, there's drop downs beside them that need to be expanded on to see what other settings you've got that are on or off. And that's for security. This is for maintenance. It's asking me to check the backups. Check for solutions to unreported problems. Now, most of us won't need to worry about that. Our systems are fairly stable these days. But there, if I expand on it, it gives me some other information down here, checking for updates, troubleshooting, maintenance, system maintenance. I'm not going to act on any of these right now. There's also some other actions on the left hand side. You may want to have a look at those. You can change the Action Center settings. By clicking on that, you can check or uncheck some of these depending on how much you're having problems. If you're not having problems, you can often uncheck them. Windows Update, for example, you may not care. You may have it turned off. You can uncheck that one. Virus protection, I'd leave that one on pretty much all the time. User account control and others, you can decide for yourself whether you want them to pop up in this little box down here when they become an issue. Change the user account control setting. This is an interesting one. Oh, it popped up on a different screen. I'll drag it over. Mine's set to the minimum. I'm in IT, so I tend to take a few more risks than most people would. The default setting is up here, and I would advise you to leave it in most cases. The downside is that it will prompt you on screen when you start adding programs or starting programs. Sometimes it'll prompt you on the screen as, do you really want to do this? There's archived messages and performance information. See what we got in the way of archived messages. It's going to take a while to get there and find any. My guess is there's not going to be anything there that I'm going to worry about. I'm going to go back there. And performance information now. This one may take a few seconds. There we go. It's giving me a breakdown of how effective my computer is. For example, this low number here on the right shows me that my graphics card isn't the top of the line. I don't do gaming, so I'm really not worried about the score on that one, but the higher the score is, apparently the better it is. You've also got some more options to go into, giving you sort of like disk cleanup, power settings, your indexing options, and we can cover those if I'm asked in later videos, but I'm not going to go into those right now. So that's pretty much the Action Center. Oh yes, backup and restore, Windows Update. There's some other options related down the bottom here. So typically when you tackle one of these, like I'm getting update prompts, I can change the settings in Windows Update, or I can turn off messages about Windows Update. Same with backup settings. I can change the options in backup settings, or I can just turn the message off. If I just don't want to change the settings, I'm quite happy to be warned, or quite happy for it to not be functioning, or I can just turn the messages off. And unreported problems. Windows sometimes obviously and sometimes quietly has issues. It will log them, it will create log files, and it will try and send those back up to Microsoft for resolution. You can check for solutions on these, like when you get Internet Explorer hangs on you, for example. Next time you power it up, it'll probably have a problem report issued for the last crash, and it will try and do something to try and resolve that. I tend to ignore messages for these because for the most part I'm not really interested. Microsoft should have done its work in the first place and made the product stable, so I don't see that these are much of a problem. I haven't seen many reports over the years that give me any cause for worry. So that's pretty much covered the Action Center. I'm going to go back in one more time in Windows 7, and then we'll look at the Windows 10 version. Control Panel and Action Center. Well, here we are on a Windows 10 system. If you look on the bottom right, we have the notifications area. If you click on it, it'll pull in a panel on the right, and you can see that there's no new notifications here, and I can collapse or expand the list of features that I'm actually expecting notifications from once in a while. Now typically, to get access to the settings, you have to go into the Start menu, Settings, and it'll pull it up, and you now want to go into the System Settings. And on the left hand side it'll show you a lot of items that you probably find in the Action Center that you would be seeing in Windows 7, like display, power and sleep, battery, etc. We just want the notifications, and as you can see, there's the little boxes that you saw on the panel that popped up. You can change these, and you can go into Add and Remove Quick Actions, and there's a list of all of them that are turned on. If I turn on the Wi-Fi, for example, and then go back, you'll now see I've got all 16 boxes in there, and I can turn that back off again just as quickly by going back in and say turn off Wi-Fi notification, and now it shows just those. So that's what I expect to see in the notification area down there. There's also some options down here. These are fairly self-explanatory. Get notifications from apps and other senders. You can turn that on and off. And the same with all these others down here. Notifications for lock screen, relevance to VoIP, that's internet phone. Notifications for duplicating a screen, I'm not that one's turned off by default. I don't even really know what that one is. Getting tips and tricks as you use Windows, I'd leave that on if you're a newbie to Windows 10, and so forth. You've got some others down here. Get notifications from these senders. Now Cortana, the voice recognition, and the search bar down here, that's on. Microsoft Edge is going to give me warnings, OneDrive, and so on down to Windows Update. There's also, as I think I've mentioned before, you can also type in settings, and it will bring it up here just the same. There we go. So it's under System, and then Notifications and Actions. Well, that about wraps it up for the Action Center. It's a notifications section. There's no need to worry too much about changing things unless you get some warning messages that come up. Windows has default settings which cater for most situations. You probably wouldn't need to change any of these, but don't be afraid to do so, and hopefully you've learned something in this video. If you have, remember to like, share and subscribe, and hopefully I'll get some comments and some feedback, and I can adjust future videos accordingly. Thank you very much.